A very good afternoon. This is the midday news on Rajya Sabha television. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor and here are the headlines. 230 seats in Madhya Pradesh and 40 in Mizoram vote on Wednesday in single-phase assembly polls. 2,899 candidates in the fray in Madhya Pradesh, 209 in Mizoram. Sunil Arora to be the new Chief Election Commissioner of India. BJP promises 50 lakh jobs in private sector in the next 5 years in Rajasthan. Releases party manifesto for the state with promises for more jobs in government sector and benefits for farmers. Prime Minister Modi campaigns in Telangana. Two encounters in Jammu and Kashmir's Kulgam and Pulwama, army jawan martyred and 2 terrorists killed in gunfight in Kulgam, 1 militant killed in Pulwama. Ukraine Parliament approves martial law in border areas for 30 days. Move following Russian forces' capture of Ukrainian naval ships off Crimea coast. Martial law to mobilize citizens with military experience, regulate media and restrict public rallies. And glittering ceremony to mark the beginning of a hockey men's World Cup tournament in Odisha this evening. Over 1,000 artists to perform at the Kalinga Stadium in Bhubaneswar. 16 teams participating. India to play South Africa in the first match on Wednesday. First up, let's get you all the action from the 5 election-bound states. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Telangana for campaigning in the state that votes on 7th of December. He held a rally in Nizamabad a short while ago. The Prime Minister called on the people to ask the government in the state for an account of the work done by it. He said that the statehood was achieved with great struggle and that no political party has any right to play with the dreams and aspirations of the people of the state. The Prime Minister will also address another rally in Mahbubnagar. The Bharatiya Janata Party has fielded 118 candidates in the polls.
हमारा तेलंगाना ऐसे ही नहीं बना है, अनेक वर्षों के संघर्ष से बना है, अनेक नौजवानों के बलिदान से बना है और इसलिए यहां की सरकार को उस बलिदान को बर्बाद करने का कोई अधिकार नहीं है। तेलंगाना की जनता ने जो सपने देखे थे, उन सपनों पर जरा सा भी खिलवाड़ करने का हक यहां के किसी राजनीतिक दल को, किसी राजनीतिक नेता को और किसी सरकार को नहीं है। लेकिन साथियों, तेलंगाना को 4.5 साल हो गए। ये सरकार 4.5 साल से उसने क्या काम किया? ये चुनाव सरकार से पाई पाई का, पल पल का हिसाब मांगने का चुनाव है।
The BJP released its election manifesto in Rajasthan, promising education for the girls and empowerment of farmers. Party's Gaurav Sankalp Patra was released by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley and Chief Minister Vasundhara Raje. The manifesto also promises 50 lakh jobs in private sector in the next 5 years and 30,000 jobs in the government sector every year. Vasundhara Raje also said that her government fulfilled 630 of the 665 promises that she made in 2013 Rajasthan election manifesto. Polling for the 200-member state assembly will take place on 7th of December.
राजस्थान में बड़े नगरों का विकास और नगरों का विकास इस प्रकार से हुआ जो देश के बहुत कम राज्यों में हुआ है। ये वसुंधरा जी की पहली टर्म में भी हुआ। रूरल आउटरीच का भी एक प्रयास हुआ और उसके साथ साथ इस बार जो ये इकोनॉमिक मॉडल, क्योंकि केंद्र में भी अपनी सरकार है और दोनों के संयुक्त प्रयास के साथ ये जो साधनों को गरीब तक पहुंचाना, और जो मुख्यमंत्री जी कह रही थी कि 3.5 लाख लोग आए और वो सब लाभार्थी थे, ये उनका अधिकार था। हम लोग चाहते हैं कि देश में कोई ऐसा परिवार ना बचे जिस तक सरकारी साधनों का और उसके माध्यम से गरीबी उन्मूलन की जो योजनाएं हमारी हैं, गरीबी से मुक्ति प्राप्त करने की जो योजनाएं हैं, जो उसका लाभ उस तक ना पहुंच पाए।
किसानों की आय, प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा है हम लोगों को कि उसको दुगना करने की जरूरत है। अगर उसको हमें दुगना करना है तो फसलों की लागत का 1.5 गुना भाव उसके अंदर मिलना सुनिश्चित करने की दृष्टि से हमने एमएसपी की खरीद की प्रक्रिया को अधिक पारदर्शी और सुदृढ़ बनाने का काम करेंगे। किसानों की आय को कृषि केंद्रित 250 करोड़ रुपए का ग्रामीण स्टार्टअप फंड अलग से हम बनाने का काम करेंगे, क्योंकि जैसे हमने आईटी के अंदर पैसा दिया है स्टार्टअप फंड्स के लिए, उसी तरीके से हम मानते हैं कि पढ़े लिखे बच्चे इस कृषि केंद्रित 250 करोड़ का ग्रामीण स्टार्टअप फंड्स का फायदा ले सकेंगे। सहकारी कृषि ऋण के विस्तार के लिए नए सदस्यों को ऋण देने के लिए हम लोग अभियान चलाकर 1 लाख करोड़ के सहकारी ऋण अगले 5 साल के अंदर देने का काम करेंगे।
And Congress's Sachin Pilot is campaigning in Rajasthan. He is holding 6 rallies today. His rallies are being held in Dungarpur, Banswara, Chittorgarh and in Udaipur. The stage is now set for polls to the 2 states of Madhya Pradesh and Mizoram tomorrow. Election campaigning ended on Monday for Madhya Pradesh assembly polls, where the star campaigners of the BJP, the Congress and other parties addressed a series of rallies to stake claim for the 230 assembly seat in the last assembly polls. The BJP had won 165 seats, the Congress had won 58, the BSP 4 and Independents 3. Around 1,80,000 security personnel, including the officials of the state police, central paramilitary forces and home guards will be deployed to ensure smooth elections. The poll body had prohibited the formation of a convoy of more than 10 vehicles.
1,80,000 पुलिस बल तैनात है, जो प्रदेश का 80,000 और 1 लाख बाहर से जो आए हैं। उसके अलावा हमारे 3 लाख कर्मचारी सभी पोलिंग बूथ पर पीठासीन अधिकारी, पोलिंग अधिकारी के रूप में तैनात किए गए हैं, जिसमें 45,000 महिला कर्मचारी हैं। 3 लाख में से 45,000 महिला कर्मचारी हैं और 2000 लगभग 2000 मतदान केंद्र ऐसे हैं जो पूर्णतः महिला कर्मचारियों के द्वारा संचालित किए जाएंगे। 160 मतदान केंद्र ऐसे हैं जो पूर्णतः दिव्यांग कर्मचारी, जो दिव्यांग पोलिंग पर्सनल हैं, उनके द्वारा संचालित किया जाएगा। 12,000 ऐसे केंद्र शासन के कर्मचारी तैनात हैं जो माइक्रो ऑब्जर्वर के रूप में वहाँ काम करेंगे। जो जिलों में निर्वाचन क्षेत्र में जो ऑब्जर्वर्स आए हैं, उन ऑब्जर्वर्स ने इनका ट्रेनिंग करके, इनका सेलेक्ट करके, उन ऑब्जर्वर ने इनको तैनात करने के लिए निर्देश दिए हैं। जो मतदाता वो देख नहीं सकते हैं, उनके लिए हमने उनका जो वोटर स्लिप है, उस वोटर स्लिप के पीछे हमने ब्रेल लिपि में भी हमने उनको ये एपिक कार्ड दिया है और वोटर स्लिप दिया है। तो उनके लिए बहुत आसान है कि अपना वोटर कार्ड वो ब्रेल में पढ़ सकेंगे। तो ये वीवीपैट में जो पर्ची निकलेगा वो सिर्फ उसी मतदाता को दिखेगा और किसी को नहीं दिखेगा। ये 100% इसमें गोपनीयता है।
And in Mizoram too, campaigning for elections to the 40-member Mizoram Assembly ended on Monday evening, and that has set the stage for polling on Wednesday. More than 7 lakh voters will exercise their franchise on 28th of November, sealing the fate of 209 candidates in the state. Akhilesh Suman brings us this report.
The Mizoram election machinery is fully prepared to conduct elections to the 40-member assembly on Wednesday. Polling will be held in the state in a single phase on 28 November from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. A total of 209 candidates are in the fray, whose fate would be decided by 7,70,395 voters. These include 3,94,897 women. The electorate will cast their votes at 1,164 polling stations where EVMs would be used. Preparations have been made for 12,026 brews lodged in 6 relief camps of Tripura to cast their votes at Kanmun village in Mamit district, where 15 temporary polling stations have been set up. Preparations have also been made for facilitating differently abled people with ramps and wheelchairs.
The election machinery is geared up to deliver a free, fair and peaceful election. There are certain assured minimum facilities to be provided to polling stations, which include electricity, water and toilets and the ramps for the physically challenged. This time we are having 1 polling station in each assembly constituency, which has been declared as an all-woman police station. And in Mizo it is being called Dingdi, which is a flower, it's a typical flower of Mizoram.
Although women voters outnumber their male counterparts, there are only 15 women candidates in the fray. The BJP has fielded the highest number of 6 women candidates. The Zoram Thar has nominated 5. The Zoram People's Movement has given tickets to 2 women, while the Congress and NCP have fielded 1 woman candidate each. In Mizoram, the Congress has been in power since 2008 and is eyeing a 3rd consecutive term. In the 2013 elections, the Congress had won 34 seats, while the MNF got 5 and the Mizoram People's Conference 1. This time, both Congress and MNF are contesting all the 40 constituencies, while the BJP has fielded 39 candidates.
Mizoram has very interesting location. It touches international boundaries at Myanmar and Bangladesh. It also touches a state boundary in Assam, Tripura and Manipur. Normally it could have been very challenging, but since the voters in this state are very peaceful and there had been no record of violence till now, so it is understood that interesting thing will be to see what is the percentage of voter turnout. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Sudhanshu in Aizawl of Mizoram.
Election news from Jammu and Kashmir, where polling for the 4th phase of Panchayat polls is being held. 35 blocks, including 19 in 8 divisions of Jammu Division and 16 of Kashmir Valley, are voting. Polling is being held at 2,618 polling stations across the state, out of which 639 polling stations are in Kashmir and 1,979 polling booths are set up in Jammu. 777 polling stations have been categorized as hypersensitive in the 4th phase, including 571 in Kashmir and 206 in Jammu. 5,470 candidates were in the fray for 339 Sarpanch and 1,749 Panch seats in the 4th phase, while 99 Sarpanches and 969 Panches have been elected unopposed. Sunil Arora will be the new Chief Election Commissioner of India. He succeeds Om Prakash Rawat, who retires on Saturday. Now, All India Radio is quoting sources as saying that the formal notification will be issued soon. A former bureaucrat, Arora was appointed as Election Commissioner in August last year. A 1980 batch IAS officer of the Rajasthan cadre, Arora has worked in ministries such as Finance, Textiles and the Planning Commission as well. In midday news, time for a very short break here. We'll be right back with more news.
On this edition of India's World, we will analyze the changing equations in the Maldives.
Prime Minister kept on mentioning when he was there the word democracy. And it was very important for us to emphasize that. Rule of law, democracy.
And if you have more warships and the submarines of China or any other country actually parked in such a close vicinity, and I mentioned it's only 90 nautical miles from Indian territory, then it has got a strategic implication.
You are having a strategic eye and camouflaging it with your economic projects, then you are not being honest about it. Now this is where India's worries lie.
See, our interests are protected by taking active steps to protect our interests. In any case, it is my view that instead of overemphasizing the strategic aspects, we should try to promote people-to-people cooperation.
Big story coming in from Jammu and Kashmir. 3 militants and 1 soldier were killed in 2 separate encounters in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Security forces launched a cordon and search operation in the Radwani area of Kulwam district around midnight after receiving information about the presence of militants in the area. 2 militants were killed in the ensuing gunfight and 3 soldiers were injured, and one of the injured soldiers later succumbed to his injuries at a hospital. And in another operation, one unidentified terrorist was killed in the exchange of fire between the security forces and militants in Hafu area of Tral in Pulwama district. The operation is currently underway. On the 10th anniversary of the Mumbai terrorist attack on Monday, US President Donald Trump said that the United States is standing along with the people of India in their quest for justice. The United States on Monday announced a reward of $5 million for information on the perpetrators of the attack.
As Secretary Pompeo said, it is an absolute affront to the victims of Mumbai and to their families who grieve them to this day that after 10 years, those who planned these despicable acts have still not been convicted for their crimes. We call on all countries, particularly Pakistan, to do their part in bringing the perpetrators to justice. All countries must uphold their international obligations to take action against this UN-sanctioned terrorist group and its leaders. As the 2 largest democracies in the world, the United States and India are bound together. We're bound by our shared values, by our economic ties, and by the close relationships between our peoples. These bonds will not be shattered by terrorism. They will grow only stronger as our nations expand our security partnership.
Including, remember, 166 people were killed in the attack, including 28 foreigners from 10 countries. Meanwhile, Israel too has called upon Pakistan to ensure full justice to the 26/11 terror attack victims, which included 6 Israelis. Visiting Maldivian Foreign Minister Abdullah Shahid met with President Ramnath Kovind a short while back. And during the meeting, the President told the visiting delegate that India supports the socio-economic development of the Maldives and will work with the government of the Maldives on its identified priorities. Earlier, Abdullah Shahid held bilateral talks with the External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj on Monday, where they discussed ways to deepen bilateral cooperation and ensure peace and security in the region. Shahid's visit comes ahead of the visit of the newly elected Maldivian President Ibrahim Mohamed Solih, who will be visiting India on 17th of December, and it will be Solih's first foreign visit after assuming charge as president earlier this month. The visit assumes significance as ties between the 2 countries had severely strained under the previous government in the island nation. Remember, Prime Minister Modi had attended the swearing-in ceremony of Maldivian President Ibrahim Mohamed Solih on 17th of November in Mali. India-Maldives ties had deteriorated significantly under former President Abdullah Yamin, who was perceived to be close to China.
India is our best friend. India has been there for us at all hours of need, be it in 1988 when there was a terrorist mercenary attack to the Maldives, or be it the tsunami when the entire country was inundated. Your naval ships steamed off into the Indian Ocean territories. At the same time, you had your naval ships steam into Maldivian archipelago with the required assistance. In the more recent past, we have had the water crisis in Mali. It was India who airlifted the required water for us. And because of the geographic proximity and because of the manner in which both our countries have from time immemorial built this brotherly relationship, we know and we trust that India would be there for us.
Let's get you all the international news now. British Prime Minister Theresa May pitched her Brexit deal to Britain's Parliament on Monday, saying that the deal will ensure smooth and orderly departure from the EU in March of next year. After reaching a divorce deal on Sunday, May is now seeking to win over critics in her own Conservatives and also opposition parties who have threatened to vote against it when the British Parliament is asked to approve the agreement, insisting that the agreement delivered for the British people by regaining control of the laws, money and borders. May said that it would be put to vote on 11th of December. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump said on Monday that the agreement allowing the UK to leave the European Union may make trade between Washington and London more difficult. He also told reporters outside the White House that the deal sounded like it would be good for the European Union, but he expressed concern about where the deal left trade between the UK and the United States. In more international news, Ukraine has declared martial law in parts of the country after Sunday's capture of 3 of its naval vessels and 23 crew members by Russia. Lawmakers backed President Petro Poroshenko's request to introduce it in regions mostly bordering Russia for 30 days starting from 28th of November. The authorities can now restrict public rallies and regulate the media. Sunday's naval clash was off the coast of Crimea, annexed by Russia in 2014. Russian Coast Guard ships opened fire before special forces stormed the Ukrainian vessels. Between 3 and 6 Ukrainians were also injured. Ukraine said it was a Russian act of aggression. However, Moscow said that the ships had illegally entered its waters. A number of Western countries condemned Russia's actions. Meanwhile, in New York, the United Nations Security Council met to discuss the crisis but failed to agree a Russian proposed agenda amid sharp disagreements between Moscow and the West. Nikki Haley, the U.S. ambassador to the United States, accused Russia of taking outlaw actions against the Ukrainian ships and vowed that sanctions punishing Russia's annexation of Crimea would continue.
Sunday's outrageous violation of sovereign Ukrainian territory is part of a pattern of Russian behavior that includes the purported annexation of Crimea and abuses against countless Ukrainians in Crimea, as well as stoking conflict that has taken the lives of more than 10,000 people in eastern Ukraine. And it shows no sign of decreasing.
And the U.S. space agency NASA has landed a new robot on Mars to begin its 2-year mission as the first spacecraft designed to explore the deep interior of another world. The landing capped a 6-month journey of 548 million kilometers from Earth following InSight's launch from California in May. The InSight probe aims to study the world's deep interior and make it the only planet apart from Earth that has been examined in this way. And confirmation of the touchdown came after a dramatic 7-minute plunge into the surface of the red planet. The landing data and the first image were relayed to the Earth from one of the 2 miniature satellites that were launched along with InSight. NASA's mission control at California's Jet Propulsion Laboratory erupted into cheers when it became clear that InSight was safe on the ground. InSight will spend 24 months collecting a wealth of data to unlock mysteries about how Mars formed and, by extension, the origins of the Earth and other rocky planets of the solar system. US President Donald Trump rung to offer his congratulations. And sports news now. The 14th edition of the Men's Hockey World Cup will kickstart with a glittering opening ceremony today at the Kalinga Stadium in Bhubaneswar, and world's top 16 teams, including defending champions Australia, Olympic champions Argentina, India, New Zealand and Pakistan, will compete in the 19-day tournament. An earlier Director General of Police reviewed the security arrangements. More than 300 police officials will be on duty, and there will be more than 50 police officers above the rank of the Deputy Superintendent of Police in various supervisory roles. Bollywood stars including Madhuri Dixit, Nene, Shah Rukh Khan and Salman Khan are expected to be present and perform at the inaugural ceremony. Meanwhile, in the opening matches, India will face South Africa, while Belgium will take on Canada on Wednesday. And that's it from me and the entire Midday News team at the moment. Thanks for watching.